Hello guys, today we are going to cover the subject object-oriented design and analysis. Our first topic in this subject is object-oriented analysis. Object-oriented analysis means it will determine the system requirements and recognize the classes and relationship between the classes. It will tell you the basic needs about the software that you are going to prepare in future. Our first topic is object-oriented analysis, and it is the first step in developing or in designing the software or system. The purpose of object-oriented analysis is to recognize the application, domain, and specific requirements of the system. It will tell you about the particular requirements, needs of the system. Basically, we are going to prepare a software or the system, and the basic step for designing the software or the system is recognizing the needs. For example, there is a banking application or banking software we are going to develop. The basic need, we will figure it out that what the requirements we are going to have in banking application or in ATM applications, etc. Fine. Then we come to the outcome of the object-oriented analysis. What will be the result after doing this object-oriented analysis? The result will be primary logical structures. It will tell you about the needs, the requirements of the software. Then comes the techniques of object-oriented analysis. There are three techniques in object-oriented analysis, that are object modeling, dynamic modeling, and functional modeling. First, we are going to cover object modeling. Object modeling. What is object? Object is a real-time entity. It is the different parts of a class. Fine. We are having different objects in a particular class. Object modeling develops the static structure of the system regarding to objects. It will recognize the objects. Relationship between objects and classes are grouped. Different relationships will be grouped together. We will recognize the different objects and we will write it down. Then we will come to the example. I will tell you the example for process of object modeling. What will be the steps in process of object modeling? First step will be recognize the object and group it into classes. For example, there are different kinds of objects we are going to cover and we will group it into one class. Fine. For example, there is a class animals, and we will collect the objects like dogs, cats, rats, and many more different animals grouped together to form the class animal. Fine. We are going to the second step, and the second step in object modeling is relationship between the classes. We will tell the different relationship between the classes. Third step will be user object model diagram is generated. We will prepare a diagram of object model. Object model diagram is prepared. Then the fourth step is to define the attributes of user objects. We will define different attributes that are needed in the user objects. Okay, and then the last step is define operations need to perform on classes. There will be different classes. We will define the operations we will going to perform on that classes. Second model is dynamic modeling. In this model, we are going to explain how single object responds to events. There will be different objects, there will be different events. In this dynamic modeling, we will explain each and every objects and how they will respond to the events. Okay, and it will examine the behavior of the object regarding time and external changes. It will tell you about the behavior of the objects regarding their times and their external changes. Now I am going to tell you about the example of dynamic modeling, and the example is process of dynamic modeling. How the process is going to be in the dynamic modeling. First step is state of every object is recognized. The state of every object is recognized, in which state the object is present. The second step is recognize the event. The second step is recognize the event. We will recognize the events of different objects, that what thing is performing by the one object and the second object and the third object, the events performed by the objects. The third step is generate dynamic modeling diagram. In the previous one, that was class model, or we can say object model, we defined the object modeling diagram, the user diagram. In this, we will be telling about dynamic modeling diagram enclosed with state transition diagram. There will be two diagrams in this dynamic modeling. One is dynamic modeling diagram and the second is state transition diagram, which is enclosed with this dynamic modeling diagram. There will be two diagrams. Fourth step is communicate with every state regarding object attributes. We will be communicating with each and every state, with each and every object and their attributes. And the last step is verify state transition diagram. We will check the state transition diagram whether the dynamic modeling has satisfied its outcome or not. It will verify it through state transition diagram. We will verify state transition diagram. And the third modeling is functional modeling, and it is the last component of object oriented analysis. It shows the processes executed in an object, how the data change when it moves between the methods. It will tell you about the functions, the methods, how the data is moving, how the data is changing between the different objects and between the different methods. Okay, now it comes to the example, the process of functional modeling. The first step is all inputs and outputs are recognized. In functional modeling, we are going to check all the inputs and outputs which are including in the software modeling or software designing or software analysis. Fine. Then it comes to the create data flow diagrams to show functional dependencies. Second step is create data flow diagrams to show functional dependencies. In the previous dynamic modeling, we developed the dynamic modeling diagram and state transition diagram. In this functional modeling, we are going to prepare data flow diagrams, DFDs, to show how the functionals are depending upon each other. Okay, and the third step is identify the motive of every function. We are going to identify motive of each and every function, how the function is going to perform and what is the basic purpose of that function, each and every function. The fourth step is identify the constraints. We will identify the different constraints. And the fifth and last step is describe the optimization criteria, describing the optimization criteria. So here it was the three modelings in the object-oriented analysis, that was object modeling, dynamic modeling and functional modeling. I explained each of these modelings. I hope you understand this. Please like and share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.